All right, go ahead.
Board, on the agenda this evening for consideration are two items. Letter A has to do with consideration of the approval of the 2020-2021 high school handbook. The handbook is attached for your review, although we've had significant discussion in regards to this previously. As you will see throughout the handbook, the changes that will be made to the handbook are highlighted in yellow. We also have some language that's struck out in red. The most significant change that will take place for your consideration this evening will have to do with the valedictorian salutatorian plan that's put in place as far as indicating selection criteria. You will see information in regards to the class of 21, 22, and then also selection criteria for Val and Sal for class of 23 and beyond. Moving forward, just to kind of give some highlights of the class of 23 and beyond, the weighted GPA will include all courses taken during high school, grades 9 through 12. All advanced placement courses or AP courses will receive an add-on of 0.025 per semester. All college credit plus courses taken on the Bethel campus will receive an add-on of 0.025 per semester. All core content, math, science, language arts, social studies, and CCP courses taken off campus or online will receive an add-on of 0.025 per semester. And then finally, the last provision indicates if the top two students in a graduating class are off-campus CCP students or are attending Miami Valley Career Technical Center or another partner vocational school, the highest ranking student that is attending full-time on Bethel campus will be named a co-valedictorian. So those are some of the highlights of the valedictorian salutatorian items that are up for your consideration this evening. The second item has to do with approval of classified employee. On the agenda this evening, we are recommending the hiring of Mr. Todd Bird as maintenance supervisor. He'll be on a 3-year contract starting on July 6th, 2020 through June 30th, 2023. Attached in the executive content is Mr. Bird's resume. Just to give you a few brief highlights of Mr. Bird, he is a resident of the community of Bethel, is a graduate, 1987 graduate of Bethel High School. Since 1996, he's worked for Advanced Mechanical as a journeyman plumber. In addition to his experiences as a plumber, he has general maintenance building skills such as drywall repair, painting, and light electrical repair, a basic understanding of HVAC systems, knowledge of power equipment operation, including backhoe, bobcat, and lawn and tree care equipment, and also has knowledge and usage skills with power tools such as saws, grinders, and drills. Also, Mr. Bird has served extensively since 2014 with the Bethel Athletic Boosters. Just to kind of highlight some of the volunteer work that Mr. Bird has done for the district, he's helped run the second water service out to the high school concession stands and bathrooms. He's helped hang drywall and plumbing work in the weight room, installed the basketball backboards and rims in the elementary gym, moved the old wall mats from the junior high gymnasium and installed them in the elementary gym, installed the scoreboard in the elementary gymnasium, helped install the flag in the high school gym, most recently refreshed the press box last winter, and also annually winterizes and de-winterizes the outside concession stand and restrooms. And so we're very excited about having Mr. Bird on the agenda this evening for consideration. Our interview committee was very impressed, not only with his knowledge of this type of skill set that it takes to be a maintenance supervisor, but also his experience at Bethel, his behind the scenes knowledge, having worked in the district in a variety of roles for so long, but also his investment in the district, having been a resident here, having had all 3 of his children attend school here, and the work he's done outside of school in support groups with the athletic boosters. So those are the 2 items that we have on the agenda this evening for your consideration.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Firks. Do we have a motion to place the items from the superintendent's report on the consent calendar?
I'll move.
Thank you, Danny. Do we have a second?
Julie will second.
Thank you, Julie, for the second. Any discussion? All right.
Jacob, I'd just like to thank the committee who worked on the ValSal policy. I know there was a lot of discussion and conversation and thought that went into that, and hopefully moving forward, it will be a lot easier for students, parents, teachers, staff to understand that. And I think it gives students of a lot of, as Lida pointed out, as Danny pointed out, it gives students of a lot of different educational opportunities, or those who remain at Bethel, kind of equal footing. So I'm pretty excited to see how it works out. It's really hard to create a perfect system, but I think they've done as good a job as what anyone could.
All right. Thank you, Lori. Brent, any other discussion?
My only other discussion would just be to ask a couple of quick questions.
Brendan, could you call the roll, please?
Wait, hang on. I don't think you heard me. Did my internet cut out?
I can hear you.
I heard you.
Okay, sorry. Just a couple of quick questions. Where just to say, I know that it says in there that they were going to give.
I did not, but.
Sorry, you got me now?
I do now.
Okay. Just a couple quick things. I know that it said that it would apply to core English, math, science, and social studies courses. I also know that we also have a course guide out there that students do look at. I know that that course guide also doesn't list like all of, say, Edison's social studies classes. It doesn't actually list any Edison social studies classes, and it doesn't list like Edison physics and things like that. So do we fully intend that it applies to all core English, math, science, and social studies classes that are taken? And will the course guide therefore indicate that? Like, are we going to change the course guide, or will we just say, period, if it is a college credit plus class that you can take at Edison, if it is in a core thing, it is accepted and weighted, period?
Well, I think it would be any core class, Lida, because they wouldn't necessarily just have to take it at Edison. They could take it really at any college that was CCP capable.
Right. I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page with that, and they're not going to say, well, it wasn't in the course guide and it's therefore not in that chart that's in the course guide, because you know that we talked before about the weighted classes that are in that chart in that course guide. And so this is opening that up, and that's throwing that chart and that table away. So I just want to have that discussion to make sure that everybody is clear that that table is not really a thing anymore.
Yeah, Justin, my recommendation would have Barrett remove that chart from the course guide, because with this new system, that chart is not effective. I would have him issue a revision and get it posted on the webpage and take that chart out in ValSal for the course of study for this current year.
Okay, I will communicate with him first thing tomorrow to do that.
Would that solve the problem, Lida?
I think so, because I think that makes it more clear. The course guide then matches what we're saying, and our policies are then, you know, in sync with those two things. The only other comment I would make is that, you know, our graduation requirements, we say as a board, our policy is that you have to have a foreign language and you have to have 5 electives, and we are recognizing that we're not giving them any okay for taking any of those classes at the college level and challenging themselves as students. We're saying we're going to require you to take those classes, but we're not going to, if you want to push and challenge and take those as college level classes, we're not going to weight those classes. I just want to point that out, because I think that's kind of a shame that if you to choose to take a college level computer science class, we're not willing to weight that for those students. I think that's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. And additional more comment I will make is I think that in our district, with the growth that we're seeing, we have a lot of students who maybe are coming from districts, whether it's because of a military transfer and their parents are serving their country. Maybe it's just my situation. Like when I was in school, my parents got divorced and I went to a new school my senior year and had worked really hard for something like a ValSal. And all of a sudden I go to a new district that has new rules. So maybe I came from a school, or a student would come from a school who was big on College Credit Plus, regardless of what the class was. And they really were top of their class, but they took a lot of classes, you know, in addition, their electives might have been in other areas, And we're saying to them that even if your parent is faithfully serving their nation and you come into our school the last 2 years, we're not giving you any recognition for all of that effort and push to get your associate's degree and better yourself. And I think that bothers me a little bit. I understand we're trying to be faithful to our on campus, and that's why that last clause was added to say if there were top off-campus students, but I just think it's just a little bit unfair and possibly educationally inappropriate to not award students or reward students who are taking college level classes and pushing themselves to be the best they can be by not including them, by giving them that little bit of bump. That bothers me. So I just want to be on the record saying that, and hopefully everyone else thinks about that as well.
Well, I agree with Lori that there's nothing perfect. Nothing's going to be perfect.
No.
And we can't really come up with every conceivable situation. This kind of things happened before at our school with kids that have moved in here and had gone through the same thing. And that's unfortunate for them. But we just can't go with every unforeseen situation. And I personally, I don't always think of kid going to college as trying to better themselves. I just think they go for most of them because it's free. But we just can't cover every situation. Oh, I've asked them, Lida, I've asked many of them, would you pay for this? Well, no, I wouldn't do it. If it wasn't free, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, and Lida, you are correct. The current ValSal policy that's in effect this year and next year for graduating seniors does give weight to advanced language, Spanish 3 and Spanish 4. The new policy will not give weight to foreign language. That is one of the changes. And because I double checked, I went line by line and I had checked, to that. But it also, like you said, doesn't give weight to STEM classes. And one of my, I told the committee or Mr. Swope when we studied this, I wanted a policy that was neutral towards arts and music because I think that's an important part of high school. And I think this policy, much like the past policy, is neutral to music and art classes. It doesn't necessarily reward you, it doesn't penalize you, and that's what I wanted. It's not perfect, but I don't know. Otherwise, people could go off college, take all CCP classes, and come back with GPAs that were not equivalent to our Bethel classes. And that's why we tried to make it just the core classes. But at least that's my opinion.
All right. Any other discussion topics or items?
I'd just like to say that I think this is a really great hire for Mr. Firks with Mr. Bird.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I just have a question about something Lida said about the courses taken off campus or online. Those are accredited schools though, right? There's no, I mean, it's not just any CCP course. I thought they had to be associated to Bethel somehow, but it sounds like they don't have to be. That school doesn't have to be associated to us. Is that correct?
I believe it has to be one of our partner schools if we're doing CCP.
That is correct.
In the class or one of the colleges.
Okay.
All right. And then I would like to echo one of Danny's comments, and that is I'm very excited about how the process has worked, bringing forward Todd Bird to Bethel Local Schools as a fixture of our school and one of our teammates now, officially outside of an organizational teammate. And I'm very excited to see all the things that are going to come under Todd's leadership there in that area.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it, Jacob.
Yes, sir.
And I will tell you, if you need to know how to set a mousetrap, Todd is the person to teach you.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, we've got quite a few of those in the outside concession. So, yeah. I'm definitely excited to get started. So.
Excellent.
Sorry, I had one other question on the ValSal. Actually, it's on the Latin honors part. If we're going to switch to this, I'm assuming the numbers that they're using, the ranges, are those pretty standard for schools that have gone to doing the Latin honors?
GPA range?
I'm sorry?
The GPA range you're referring to?
Yes.
Who gets Magna, who gets Summa?
I don't know, Julie. I can't answer that. I had assumed they just used the standards, but I don't know.
I don't know either.
Okay, well, I assume that too. I don't know what they are, so.
I mean, I think like Northmont and schools in the area have done so. So a quick check of those would be easy to verify, I would think.
One of them equals the Bethel or the state honors diploma that's necessary. I do know that. I'm not sure which
Okay.
one it is.
Perfect.
Oh yeah, one more thing I want to ask real quick. Sorry. The first bullet that says about taken for high school credit 9 to 12, can we ask if that be changed to say something about taken for high school credit and then maybe grades 7 to 12? Because we actually have 7th and 8th graders taking high school classes.
Yeah, I can ask tomorrow as well.
Yeah, so I would just recommend that it say taken for high school credit and then in parentheses grades 7 to 12.
But if this is a high school Val-Sal, I'm not sure we would include middle school classes because we don't include the algebra class taken in 8th grade, to my knowledge.
We don't, but it doesn't mean we wouldn't ever have a kid who could. I mean, I'm just saying it could happen. 7th grade is open for College Credit Plus, and they could therefore take like English Comp and things like that. You can take those College Credit Plus classes in 7th grade.
I think it's a great point that we could bring up and allow Mr. Firks the opportunity to approve those changes as he sees fit to finalize the handbook going forward. If that works.
Discussion with Mr. Swope tomorrow in regards to some of those items, and then I'll give you guys an update.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Any other comments? Brendan, could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Elam,
Yes.
Ms. Reese,
Yes.
Ms. Sebastian,
Yes.
Ms. Mansfield,
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes. All right, next is to a motion to adopt a consent calendar with the items from the superintendent's report.
I'll move.
I'll
Thank you,
second.
Lori. Thank you, Lyda, for the second. Any other discussions? All right. Brennan, could you call the roll, please?
Ms. Mansfield,
Yes.
Ms. Sebastian,
Yes.
Ms. Reese,
Yes.
Mr. Elam,
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes. Well, Mr. Bird, that's official. You're on the rolls now. So congratulations and welcome.
Thanks a lot. Like I said, I'm excited to get started, so appreciate it, everybody.
Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks.
All right. So next up is a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll move.
Thank you, Danny. Do we have a second?
I'll second Julie.
All right. Julie for the second. Any discussion? All right. Brandon, could you call the roll, please, sir?
Mr. Elam,
Yes.
Ms. Reese,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Ms. Sebastian,
Yes.
Ms. Mansfield.
Yes.
All right. Excellent. We got meeting adjourned at 6:22. And for all our community out there, stay tuned for more exciting things to come. Have a good night.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bet.
Thanks.
Thrilled to have you, Todd.
Thanks.